Good afternoon and welcome to the Licensing Subcommittee meeting. The first item on the agenda is appointment of chairman. Have we got any nominations?
I propose Councillor Mott as chair.
Are there any other nominations?
Thank you. In that case, then, welcome to the Licensing Subcommittee meeting. If we would like to go around, please, and introduce ourselves. Let's start now.
Hello, I'm Karen Proctor, Principal Environmental Health and Licensing Officer for West Devon Borough Council.
Good afternoon, my name is Catherine Bowen. I'm the Legal Officer to the Licensing Committee this afternoon.
I'm Tony Leedsham from Oakhampton North.
Caroline Mott, I'm the lead member for Planning and Built Environment, and I am from Bridgestow Ward.
Terry Southcott, I'm from Bridgestow Ward, and I'm the Vice Chair of the Licensing and Planning Committee.
Hello, I'm Harry Leonis, I'm the Licensing Officer.
I'm Catherine Hall, Democratic Services Officer at West Devon and Clerk to this meeting.
Good afternoon, Robert Bockeye, Winkworth Sherwood Solicitors. I'm representing the applicant.
Afternoon, Joe Hemming. I'm the Operations Manager for lounges in the Southwest.
Afternoon, I'm Jeremy Burton-Dickey. I'm the Regional Operations Manager for Lounge Southwest.
Thank you. My apologies, I wasn't scribbling fast enough. I got Mr. Hemming and I missed the first gentleman.
Robert Bockeye, B-O-T-K-A-I.
Thank you. And
Jeremy Burton-Dickey, D-I-C-K-I-E.
Thank you, Mr. Burton. That's fine. So just so that I'm not just glancing at you in the expectation of you being able to understand that I am expecting you to speak at that point. Thank you. So we have before us the consideration of the lounge, 55 Brook Street, Tavistock today. Who would like to present the report? Mr. Irons, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. We are here today to consider the application for a new premises licence for the lounge at 55 Brook Street in Tavistock. The application is for late night refreshments, indoors and outdoors, Monday to Sunday from 11 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. Supply of alcohol for the consumption on and off the premises, Monday to Sunday from 10 to midnight, and opening hours Monday to Sunday 8 to 12:30 in the morning. Non-standing times, the premises may remain open for the sale of alcohol, provision of late night refreshments from the terminal hour for those activities on New Year's Eve through to the commencing time for those activities on New Year's Day. A copy of the application form and premises license plan is at Appendix A of your papers. As the plan shows, the premises consist of a ground floor and a first floor and an outdoor terrace situated on part of the first floor. The terrace is in the town centre of Tavistock, close to other businesses and residential properties. The location of the premises can be seen in Appendix B of your papers. 2 representations were received during the consultation period from local residents. One of these have withdrawn subject to the amendment proposed by the applicant to the premises operating hours, changing these from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. Sunday to Thursday and 9 a.m. to midnight Friday and Saturday. The applicant has also confirmed that staff will be trained to adhere to the steps contained within the noise management plan, and a copy of which is Appendix F. In addition, the applicant has agreed to several conditions requested by the Police Licensing Office, and this is listed as Appendix C. If you are minded to grant the licence, we would recommend that you include these amendments. The concern raised in the remaining representation mainly relates to the prevention of public nuisance licensing objective. Of particular concern is the potential noise from customers using the outside terrace due to the proximity of the property. There are also concerns about customers using the street outside in front of the premises to smoke, leading to further noise and disturbance. There are some photos at Appendix E which will show you the exterior of the premises and its proximity to the nearby properties. The person objecting to the application was unable to attend the meeting today, but has provided some additional information which are in the supporting documents. The applicant has also provided some additional information in the form of their noise management plan, their planning, design and heritage assessment, and the noise impact assessment. These are also available in the supporting documents. Any information contained in the representation which is not relevant to the promotion of the 4 licensing objectives cannot be taken into consideration when determining the premises license application. As a reminder, the licensing objectives are prevention of crime and disorder, public safety, prevention of public nuisance, protection of children from harm. Today, the applicant's solicitor, Mr. Robert Bukhai, along with a representative of the lounge and the person making the representation, was unable to attend. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you for that. Members, have you got any questions for the officer?
Not at this time.
Not at this time.
Thank you. Would you like to speak for the applicants?
Thank you. Yes, and good afternoon again. So this is going to be a lounge. You may be familiar with the lounge concept. I've sent some information through. So you'll see we're very much a family diner type operation. We're not a late night bar. It's very much about the food with drink as opposed to the other way around. We don't have vertical drinking in a lounge. The premises are going to be called Granito. Is it Granito or Granito? Granito Lounge. So all of the lounges, there are about 250 now. They all have a different name. They all have to be Italian or Spanish. They have to have a local connection and they have to end in O. That's about it. So the committee sits and in this case it's going to be called Granito Lounge. With me I've got Joe, who's the operations manager, and Jeremy, who's the regional operations manager, so they can talk to you in particular about other lounges that we have in similar locations. There's some confusion because when I went past this morning and spoke to the builder, he said he's building a cosy club, and I think some local residents also have been told it's going to be Cosy Club. That's a different brand. So we operate lounge cafe diners. We also have cozy clubs, which are more like bars, city centre bars, and we also have 3. It might be 4 now. It's 4. Sorry, roadside diners. The nearest one, I think, being at Honiton, the Brightside Diners. But this is very much a lounge, not a cozy club. So it will be a diner. We applied for alcohol 10 o'clock in the morning till midnight. Following the resident representations, we amended it. So it's now 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Sunday to Thursday, and 10 a.m. to midnight on Friday and Saturday. I'm a little bit confused about the operating hours in 2.8 on page 3, because I don't think we amended the operating hours. So it's possible, we're probably opening at 9 o'clock in the morning, but I wouldn't want the opening hours restricted to 9 a.m. I think 8 a.m. is probably safer in case we are open for breakfast, but it wouldn't be with alcohol. So I'd prefer, if possible, to keep the 8 o'clock opening hours. The late night refreshment we would only need on the Friday and Saturday night between 11 p.m. and midnight. We don't need that during the week. It's gone upside down. It's a slightly confusing property, and it's quite difficult from the plan. So we've had the benefit of a walk around this morning, which has really helped, and I've sent a photograph to Harry as well. I don't know whether you've had an opportunity to see that. So we had 2 resident concerns. One of the residents has withdrawn, so we're left with our immediate neighbour, Hannah. And there have been lots of discussions with her. We've had to go through the planning process, as you can imagine. For the purpose of planning, we produced an acoustic report, which you've got, and a heritage and site assessment report. And again, we've sent that through. It's always difficult with licensing because this shouldn't be a rerun of a planning application. But I thought it was important that you see that we're not just doing this without any regard for our neighbours. A lot of work has gone into this to make sure that neighbours are going to be okay once we're opening. So I can talk you through those reports if you wish, but I fear that it's slightly a rerun of planning. The planning are satisfied with what we're doing. We've got sign-off, and we're very much hoping to open in the next 2 or 3 months. But to walk you through the plans, if you come off the main street to Brook Street, you've got the main entrance to the ground floor on the left, bottom left of the plan, and you walk through. You've got the restaurant bar on the ground floor, and then you go upstairs to a first floor trading area, top left of the plan, and then you go out to you can step out to a terrace, and that's the contentious. I believe that's just about the only point of contention with, if I can call her Hannah. Because if you look at where it says flat roof...
Sorry, 1 second. I will ask you to stop referring to the neighbour by name, please. Purely for a data issue.
Okay, it's a public hearing.
Yeah, it is a public hearing, but they're not here to represent themselves. So if we could just refer to them as the neighbour, please.
I will do.
Rather than by name. Thank
representation isn't withdrawn, so it is... okay, so the neighbour... If you look at where it says flat roof, she's got a window that overlooks the flat roof. We're not using the flat roof. And I think this is where some confusion has come about, that perhaps people were under the impression that we were going to have dining on that flat roof. We're not. So the external area is at the back overlooking the market. There is a fence there at the moment. We'll put something prettier at the back there so that there will be a view of looking down into the market. And then where it says, to the side, it says view of the market there. I don't think it should. The view of the market's there, isn't it? Anyway, just... No, that is right, view of the market, sorry. So the view of the market is at the bottom, quite right. And then at the end of the flat roof, can I point to it? Here. We will be putting an acoustic screen there, and that will be erected before we're open and trading, and so that should protect from any noise that the neighbour would experience from her window at the flat roof. I would stress that we have numerous lounge premises where we are in close proximity to our neighbours, very often in new builds where the neighbours are immediately above, but we have others where we're immediately next to. And I've been to hearings where we've had to explain that we don't believe, and the evidence is that we won't cause a nuisance to them. And we always hand out contact details and to keep in touch. And of course, at every hearing, I do stress that they have the right to review the licence if, in fact, we do cause a nuisance. And I'm pleased to say that none of those venues, and Joe and Jeremy can talk you through those other venues, we've not had any complaints from our neighbours at other venues, and we've certainly not had any licence reviews from any of those, even those where we've had these hearings. So there is an understandable concern that, well, we're applying for a midnight licence, it's going to be a bar, it's going to be noisy, whereas in actual fact we won't be using the outside area after 10 o'clock at night anyway. We'll be able to have fixed tables and chairs there, so there won't be the noise of dragging tables and chairs into the premises at night. Dare I say it'll be somewhat weather dependent, the use of the terrace. Lovely day today, but a bit chilly. So we don't expect the terrace to be at full capacity every day of the year. That simply won't happen. Obviously, when the weather is better, it will be busier, but we don't believe that that's actually going to cause a concern or a nuisance to our neighbours. The outside dining, and you can see how important it is. I think if we'd agreed not to have the outside dining, we probably wouldn't be here today. That's really just about the last remaining point. It is really important, and it became important during and after the pandemic, that people increasingly want the opportunity to be able to dine outside. And so it's really important when we're looking for new premises that we've got that facility. But we're very happy to keep in touch with our neighbour, whether that's through Harry or direct, to make sure that she's comfortable with the operation. We had discussions with the police. You've seen the conditions that we've agreed with the police. The police are satisfied. All of your officers, environmental health, are satisfied now with the application. So I'm happy to talk you through the noise report. They can be very confusing, but the summary of the noise report is that the disturbance to our neighbour will be minimal, and so the experts are satisfied and have given their evidence that there won't be a noise disturbance from this establishment. It has to be managed, and that's why we've got a noise management plan in place as well, and the staff, the management will be trained and will be aware that we have a sensitive property. I don't mean that in a negative way, but a noise-sensitive property very, very close to us, and we need to make sure that they're not harmed. The other point I think that's been raised is about smoking outside, and dare I say, the world has changed. If we'd been making this application 10 years ago, I think we would have been expected to have a designated smoking area for people to go outside and smoke. We wouldn't have heard of vapes then. But the world has changed. Very few of our customers are now smoking, and very few of them leave our premises to go outside and smoke. And we actually think it would be counterproductive to have designated smoking areas. So we think that will actually manage itself. And whilst we understand the concern, we just don't think it's going to happen, that our customers are going to be standing outside smoking. It's not a bar, it's not a pub, it's very much a family diner. It's got a great range. I don't know whether you've seen any of our premises elsewhere, but it's got a great range of food, plenty of gluten-free, plenty of vegetarian. I might stop at the Bright Side on the way back this afternoon, but that's really about it. So we're very happy to talk to you about our plans, about the layout. We've got plenty of experience at the table. We did go to the wrong building, but your wrong premises. But apart from that, lovely drive. But thank you very much. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Councillor Leach.
You're talking about an acoustic screen. So from your plan here, is that the section coming across there, and will it actually return against the actual property? It's showing a line coming here at the end of the flat roof.
Yes, it's the line at the end of the flat roof.
It's quite confusing, and going to site today, I can see why. So essentially, there's a bit on the plan where it just says terrace. Yes. So if you imagine that bit is literally just a rectangle, yes. There's nothing coming off it at all. And then there's only a very short bit actually, which you can actually see over to the flats. Yeah. That's the bit where the screen is coming up. So I think that's possibly where some of the confusion comes from. That flat roof is dropped down away. That's the only bit that's actually adjacent to the neighbour's flat. We are literally going to put up a screen up there, which will be visual and acoustic, and we will only have I think it must be only, 3 metres of a view down to the market, and not a view over to the right-hand side to where the neighbour's property is.
Okay.
You don't have the facility to bring the plan up on screen, do you? I could walk over with your permission and show you. Yeah, is that all right?
I think from the way I'm understanding it, the screen is just effectively dividing the flat roof and the terrace area, as opposed to where it's shown on the plan of view of market. Right. So it's just dividing the flat roof and the terrace area. Yeah. That's right. Is that correct? Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Councillor Southcott.
What height will the screen be to? Above the patio area?
It would, well, I don't know what the exact height is, but it'll be a minimum of normal full fence height. I'd envisage it would be the same height as full garden fence height, but we could be, you know, if we needed to go higher, we'd be happy to do that. What we're keen to do is to block the view to the one side, so people can sit there and only enable the view to the public market, basically.
Thank you.
Any other questions or concerns? Councillor Leach, sorry.
The use of the actual terraces says you'll take the tables and chairs in at 10 o'clock at night. No?
Sorry, no, we'll I believe that we'll keep them outside.
I think it states here, make them unusable.
Yeah, that's our standard condition. But well, there won't be any people there, so they won't be used.
So I've got a few sites with residential areas either above or adjacent to my lounges. I think one would be a good talk about is Newquay, where we have flats directly above the site, the lounge itself, overlooking the terrace, which when comparing, Newquay will be bigger than the terrace that we have currently, that we have at Tavistock. There's also an outside bar. Operating times are from 9 a.m. through till 10 p.m. And when it gets to around 9:30, that's when the team would go outside and discuss with the diners and the drinkers that are out there to let them know that we will be closing the terrace at 10 o'clock. And then from 10 o'clock onwards, the guests would then be escorted inside to occupy seating inside. And we have a similar setup at Seco Lounge on the Royal William Yard, a bit closer to where you guys are. But we have it's a Grade 1 listed building, big stretch of outside space, about 120 covers outside, with flats all along overlooking the external area. And we only operate from 9 a.m. through till 10 p.m. and we do it the exact same way, where the team then go outside, they discuss for the stragglers that are there, because in our experience, when it comes to about 9-10 o'clock, people tend to move inside anyway. But there's no resistance. The team are usually trained with sort of dealing and communicating with the guests in this way. And we've had no pushback on our terrace being closed from 10. From then on, the furniture would remain outside to prevent any disruption from clanging and bringing furniture into any storage areas. They'll just be out of use, and a team member will probably be out for maybe 15 minutes clearing the place up and just wiping tables and sweeping the floor, I would imagine.
Having the benefit of, because it's been a real building site coming down today, it's the first time really as non-builders we've been able to get in and sort of move around the place. It's quite a small terrace. I'm looking at it, I mean, don't hold me to this, but I reckon we could be looking to get about 9-ish tables out there. It's very enclosed. The access point is from one single door from internal, with the screen up against the side, and the fact that it is quite sheltered and enclosed, I was quite relieved, thinking, oh, this is actually going to be very easy to manage. It's a one single door, and it reminded me very much of Grupo Lounge, which is in Westby-upon-Trim, where we have a very similar size terrace up on the first floor, albeit it's open on two sides. They have sliding folding doors. They open until 10 o'clock at night. And it feels quite natural, you know. We got there and just so there's a sign that says terrace is closed at 10 o'clock. So when the guys go and speak to them and let people know, we get very, very little. People understand, basically. I think, you know, I'm proud. I've worked for the company for over 20 years, and we tend to attract a fairly nice crowd, shall we say? I think so. You're not getting much pushback from people. We tend to have quite nice customers, I think. And so when we say, look, we're closing, there's very rarely any issues.
Thank you, Councillor Southcott.
Right. Just one question. In the terraced area, will smoking be permitted? Good.
We don't allow smoking, and we discourage it even from places where we can't manage it, because obviously people are people, aren't they, as well? So, yeah, that stopped pretty much post-COVID, really.
Thank you. Mrs. Bowen.
Thank you. Through you, Chairman, could you just clarify your operating hours for us? I was a bit confused because in your noise management plan, it says the operating hours are going to be 9 to 23. Is that not? I've got a voice like a foghorn. I don't normally need it. Sunday to Thursday, 9 to 2300 hours, and Friday to Saturday, it says 9 to midnight. So you were saying earlier 8.
Yeah, Lounge
on the lounge.
Lounge did write that, but it didn't form part of the application. We probably will open from 9 o'clock, but we'd prefer it stated 8 o'clock, so that if we are open for breakfast, we can be open from 8 o'clock in the morning.
That's outside your
License hours.
license hours.
That's
yeah,
right.
so,
We wouldn't be selling alcohol at 8 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
but just it's very debatable to what extent opening hours can be enforced anyway on a license. I think it's safer to put 8 o'clock, please.
I think then for clarity, if you wouldn't mind just confirming opening hours and licensing hours that you are expecting.
It's likely to be so. Look, it can change. So the opening hours are not governed by the license. It's the alcohol hours. So we said 10 o'clock in the morning for alcohol. Opening hours, if they are to be stated on the license, please go from 8 o'clock. That doesn't mean that we have to open from 8 o'clock. We may open from 9 o'clock.
Just to add some clarity to that, we have just some very slightly flexible hours. Different lounges in different areas end up operating along, there's a different ebb and flow to the day. Sometimes we get a lot of early morning influx, and we see from, the places where we have opened at 9 o'clock, we go, well, look, people are knocking on the door at 9 o'clock. We're like, okay, because they want to come in for a coffee before they go to work. Some lounges, post-COVID, we started doing, where they're on a big school run sort of route, we do things like, often do things like breakfast clubs, and that sort of thing, so they can come in and, mum can grab a coffee sort of thing. There are others where it doesn't really start until midday, so I think that's why we like the flexibility around the 8 o'clock.
Thank you. And also, again, just for my clarity, please, so you've confirmed that there will be no outside use of the terrace after 10 p.m. So where you are requesting that you remain open throughout from New Year's Eve until effectively 10 a.m. the following day for New Year's Day, that will be inside, should you choose to do so. Yeah, it's just really for my own clarification that's the expectation. And yeah, so if you could just confirm that with the mic on, please, for the live streaming.
All night on.
No, we won't need outside space all night for New Year's. We would run similar to what we do at Newquay and its Echo Lounge, 10 o'clock in the evening, regardless of what day it is. Everyone comes inside. The terrace will be out of action from 10 o'clock on New Year's.
Thank you. Councillor Leach.
Live and amplified music. If the licence is agreed under the Act, you can have live and amplified music, as I understand it. Will you actually be having live and amplified?
Background music, indoors only.
Musak type.
Yeah, so there's no music on the terrace. It's background music inside only.
Anything else, Councillor Leach? Councillor South got no?
Not at this moment.
Okay. In that case, if there's nothing further to ask, we will pause the meeting while we go and huddle outside, as it were. And no, you're absolutely fine. We go next door. It's easier for us to move. Thank you.
can say there are plenty of opticians in Tavistock.
Thank you, gentlemen, for your patience while we went and deliberated your application. So we have considered the application for a new premises licence, and we have considered the statement of licensing policy, the government guidance, and our objections. Our obligations that relate to the promotion of the licensing objectives. We have read carefully the written representations from all parties, plus additional statements from persons here today. It is therefore our decision to grant the application subject to the following changes being incorporated into the operating schedule. That there be no smoking, vaping on the terrace at all times, and that operations should be in accordance with the noise management plan and Appendix C as submitted. The reasons for our decisions are so that we are complying with the prevention of public nuisance and protection of children from harm. Trust that's acceptable.
Well, just the one point, could we clarify that because the operating plan did say operating hours of 9 a.m, but the licence, I would hope, would say 8 a.m, so I'd prefer it not to refer to the operating, because that can change from time to time. We've got to have the flexibility to amend the plan. We hope to be licensed here for many years to come, so it's there for information purposes.
Okay, sorry, bear with me one second then so that we can make sure that we're clear on the wording for that.
I'm doing it now. The operating hours go from 8 a.m. Yeah.
Happy with that?
My preference would be not to refer to the plan in the licence, because it's something that is there for information purposes, and it's something that can change from time to time, and we wouldn't want to have to come back for a variation of the licence every time there was an improvement to the noise management plan. It's really there for the benefit of the team, rather than it introduces a lot of new conditions to licence, and I don't think that's appropriate.
Okay.
I'm not trying to be obstructive.
No, not at all. Ms. Bone, are you satisfied with that?
Go to the current noise management plan, if you change them. So you wouldn't have to have changed the licence. In place from time to time? Yes, okay.
My preference would remain not to make reference to the noise management plan on the licence. We've got an operating schedule which has got conditions on it. We can agree a condition that a noise management plan will be in place, and that the licence holder can be asked to show that to an officer on request. I think that would be better than to append this document, which, can we agree that?
I think we are satisfied with that.
Yeah, we can include that, and we just spell out the hours in the licence.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, got it.
Mr. Irons, happy?
Acceptable.
Thank you. Okay. Subject to that tweak. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.